yes, here we go. It's a Wednesday morning. Yeah, Wednesday morning here in the Spice Isle. Under beautiful, 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 beautiful sunny skies. A very good morning to you, my dear friends, and thank you very much for joining us for this edition of Good Day Grenada. I'm George Grant, and let me take a look at the rundown this morning. I'm doing everything this morning off the top of my head. It's all basically ad-lib. We are going to bring you one of those pieces we've been doing for the past little while with our good friend, Mr. Anthony DeRiggs. We used to say all kind of things like that, yeah? Needless to say, that will include a chuckle or two. Anthony, this guy is just so hilarious. I don't know where he digs this stuff up, but it's all real. It's all true. Now, let me caution you that this morning, some of the stuff that he's going to say may be a little bit offbeat, hard for some of you to accept. But it's real. It's the reality of what growing up in Grenada was like. So don't worry about some of those things that may be, a little bit iffy. But it's reality, all right? And by the way, just before going on air this morning, I also received a little reminder from him that today marks the 16th anniversary since that major disaster we had on January 16th. Yeah. Remember that incident on the West Coast where I think nine persons lost their lives, and that it's known as the Koto Melee accident? How many of you remember that? Huh? I see Sharon is nodding her head. And by the way, Sharon has joined us. If you don't believe me, here, take a look at this. She's not coming on yet, but there she is. See, Sharon. I hope it's warmed up a little bit there in Florida. Anyway, that's an accident which happened 16 years ago. That was one of our major disasters in this place, and I hope that many of you remember that. So, after we bring this little piece to you from Anthony, we are also going to bring you the National Report. Standard on a weekday morning. And then I do have somebody coming in here, somebody by the name of Nicholas George. He's one of the sponsors and organizers of the annual Spice Isle Billfish Tournament. Boy, I'm anxious to talk with them about that because this year they're celebrating their 50th anniversary, and I understand that they do have something kind of special planned, maybe an expansion of one of their regular activities. But Nicholas should be in here with us at about 9:30 this morning. Okay? Then, Sharon Roberts. Sharon Roberts. Man, you should see the backdrop she's got lined up for you this morning. Oh, you're living in a fancy place, Sharon. We're looking forward to it. Sharon, a native of Petty Martinique. She's been with us for the past few weeks, and boy, we've been having a hoot. We have been having a hoot. One of these days, I keep threatening, one of these days we're going to arrange to have people like you and Alan and Anthony and Ray. Did you hear Ray yesterday? Ray really, really, really went to town yesterday talking about happy hour. That was totally unplanned. But we talked about the happy hours that take place after funerals here in the Spice Isle. And so there you have it. Just before I fire up Anthony this morning, let me say, I see one of Sharon's fans on there already this morning. Carla Ray Briggs is saying, good Wednesday morning, Geo Bear and Sharon and everyone else who is listening, even as you work. Yeah, girl, even as I... Can you actually call this work? Huh? I mean, come on, you get out of bed here in the morning and you saute into the studio and sit down with friends and chat and laugh and whatever. I don't consider it work. I think I'm one of the most blessed people on this earth to be doing what I do. I really, really do enjoy it. Really do. And by the way, she's referring to me as Geo Bear. That's a nickname. I didn't know that anybody remembered that, but that's a nickname that I got years and years ago. Because when I lived in Canada, I used to be very fond of teddy bears. I had over 100 stuffed animals. Teddy bears. Teddy bears. I just love teddy bears. And by the way, if anybody's going to Australia and you can smuggle one of those koala bears back here, whoo, I would be in seventh heaven. I would really love to play with one of those little creatures. I don't know if it's okay to play with them. I'll find out. Hopefully not the hard way. So, right now, let's get down to business. I promised you that we are going to bring you a little piece by Anthony DeRiggs. And I must warn you again, some of the stuff he says, maybe, just maybe. Hey, where's my other little thingy here? Yes, just let me pull up my other thingy here. And see that? That's my little thingy. And then I'm going to put my little thingy in there. So there you have it. Okay, now, here comes Anthony DeRiggs.
We used to see all kind of thing in Grenada while I was growing up. We still do. But if we don't watch ourselves, it will fade. The things we used to see will fade just like the patois, the French patois we spoke so well. What is very interesting is the history, our history and culture is embedded in the twang. The pot coming to come. You want to see a pot that is coming to come? Look one right here. This pot is coming to come. It will be ready probably in a half an hour or so. Some more. You're mashing my blasted foot. I cock a hole and I band my belly and I'm ready for them. You know what a fat. You know the make back. Move your scratch from there. Boy, you're too damn licorice. You go puff. All fall down beef. How much time I go tell you? Do blam blasted car door. And where you going with all that mud on your foot? It's 2 bull pistol you want. Well, I take a bush bath. You're so soft. You can't even bust a boil. You stand up there like a police boto. You know they drop a bull pistol on pumpkin. They drop it on your back. You stand up there like a assassinator. You're too damn caboose. I go clip your blasted wings. You're wearing flower bag drawers. And you dress up in your best dandan. You dress up like a circus horse. Look, we go fall out, you know. We go fall out if you don't pay me. Move your galley foot from there. Your ass hard now. You're playing your leg thing, eh? You're playing your leg thing. But how you like to joke ants nest so? You're mashing my friggin' foot. Mr. Man, how much time I go tell you, do cock up on my chair? You know, I ain't able to that nastiness. Don't bring him in my house. He had no goddamn behavior. Oh, Gid! Somebody, boom! They send you for me? Tell them you ain't see me. Boy, the man so broke, he don't even have a pot to piss in. Bring the cockles back for me. Where you put the pitch oil? And if you have Cocoa Bay, don't pray for years. You know, you just lying by the Bowser and the Queasy. How you sit down there like pour me one so? Get your falling self. And just skin up your face for me. I go bring you up. Your father is a glass maker. You married me? Your father is a glass maker. I go in by the doctor shop. He have more belly than Bam Bam. And the pot coming to come, which we said already. He can't mess, you know. They cock him and they do him. He a light. I go and take a S-H-I-T. They drag Bam Bam on him. You know, just like that, the police crutch up the man. And a favorite back in the day of the GBC, the Grenada Voluntary Constabulary. Come for your cocoa water. Come for your cocoa tea. Bring your teacup and saucer, you hungry GVC. Anthony Wendell DeRiggs. We go catch up, eh? You hear? Will our words fade like the French patois we spoke so well up to the 1940s? Let it live. Let them live. Let the words live in cyberspace on the World Wide Web.
There you have it. Anthony Wendell DeRiggs. And like I told you, you know, some of the language may be intolerable to a few people, but the way I look at it, I remember everything he just said. As a kid growing up, that's the way we spoke. That was Grenadian dialect, Grenadian culture, if you will. Not saying right or wrong, but it's a reality. Thank you very much, Anthony, for reminding us of those days. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Now, I forgot a little while ago when I started saying good morning, I said good morning to Carla Ray Riggs, and I totally forgot to say hi to Veronica Sandy, who is saying good morning, everybody, and wishing you all a very happy Wednesday. Thank you, Veronica. You have a wonderful day as well. Carla, during that piece, Carla said, oh, she's referring to a comment I made about the koala bear earlier on. She says here, me too, me too. I need a stuffed koala bear, even though I would prefer a real live one. Let me tell you something, Carla. When I talked about wanting a koala bear, I was not talking about a stuffed one. I want the real thing. You see how they hug on to those trees? I want one of those to hug on to me. Now, I ain't going to do that with a real bear. You know, the bears that I told you I had so many stuffed animals on. No, no, no. I ain't that stupid. But koala bear, yeah. I would love to play with one of those little critters. Cecilia Maria Flanders is saying good morning from a cold London, England. She said that the piece by Anthony there was very funny. Indeed, it was. Indeed, it was. As I mentioned, he also sent another piece this morning, but unfortunately, I got it too late to program it into the system to play for you this morning. But he was reminding us that today happens to be the 16th anniversary of that Cotomeli accident, which took place on the West Coast many, many years ago. Very, very sad. Okay, folks, so having done all of that, let's take our first little break here right now, and then we'll come back with the national report, and then we'll get to our first in-house guest. Actually, he's our only in-house guest this morning, Mr. Nicholas George, who's going to be telling us all about the 50th anniversary of the Spice Isle Billfish tournament. And following that, we're going to talk to the young lady you saw just a few minutes ago out there in Florida. Where's she gone? Probably gone to get a cup of coffee. Here she comes. Sharon Roberts, okay? But first, break.
Together with you, our customers, we energize our community.
Together with you, we energize our economy.
We are working together to give our nation a better tomorrow.
With you, we energize our future. Together, we energize our nation.
Thank you for partnering with us as we energize our Spice Isle.
Redleg, energizing our Grenada.
Juve chocolates, cocoa nibs, and cocoa balls from Diamond Estate Grenada are now available at Amazon.com, Amazon.ca, Amazon.co.uk, and GrenadaMarket.com. Try the sensational touch of nutmeg and a touch of ginger chocolates, 75% dark and rich, 100% pure cocoa, and their 60% dark and sweet chocolate bars today. Amazon Prime members enjoy free shipping on these orders in the USA, Canada, and Europe. GrenadaMarket.com. When you can't come to the island, the products of the island will come to you.
With free island-wide delivery, Hubbard's Building Supplies and Lumber Departments continue to provide the best quality lumber, steel, tiles, plumbing materials, electrical and general hardware supplies at competitive prices. We continually consult with builders, homeowners and contractors to improve product range and services. Enjoy discounts where applicable, including the use of credit and debit cards. At Hubbard's Building Supplies, Grandance and Lumber Department, Caranage, we offer quality service, affordable prices, giving you the convenient, reliable, free island-wide delivery. Call 440-2087 for all your home improvement and building solutions.
Government to pay salaries to public officers 1 week ahead of schedule. Details to this story and more coming up in the national report. Welcome back. I am Wendy Edmond with the national report for today, Tuesday, January 15, 2018. Public officers in Grenada are getting a well-deserved financial break. They will receive their January salaries more than a week ahead of schedule, and it will include a 4% salary increase and increments. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Finance, Mrs. Ophelia Wells-Conwell, was the bearer of the good news for public officers Tuesday as she made the disclosure during the weekly post-cabinet press briefing.
All and sundry would say January is a hard month. That's what persons say in general terms. Taking that principle, that notion that January is a hard month, and in discussions with our public officers, it was something that they would have raised, PS, I think you all should consider this and that sort of thing. So we did the analytics to determine whether or not we could accommodate it based on cash flow. And then we suggested to the government, maybe this is a good thing that you would want to do because of the fact that January is considered a hard month. You would recall that we paid early in December. So by mid-December we paid. So by the end of December, into January, you have to wait traditionally until the 30th of January to get pay. So with all of that, considering school is opening and all of that, we felt that as long as the cash flow permit, why not ask government to consider this? And they did.
In addition to the receipt of early salaries, salary increases of 4% and an increase in ex gratia payment minimum of $350 will be paid all at once on January 21st. P.S. Wells Cornwall says government's move is affordable and will in no way disrupt the country's cash flow. Government will also make an early start towards seed payments on Thursday, 17th January 2019.
Economic growth has ended last year was 5.2%, and on average we had 5% growth rate, and we are considered one of the fastest growing countries in the ECCU and in the region at that. In the case of to be able to do what we're doing at this time, of course when we run the analytics we have to determine that the cash flow would allow for that to happen, and definitely based on our performance the cash flow did allow for us to be able to make not just early payments but the payments with the additions on it all at once.
The month of January will also see a reduction in income tax by 2%. The rate will now move to 28%. The government of Grenada is moving ahead with plans to increase the pension for public officers to 70%. This was disclosed Tuesday by Minister of Trade, Industry, Cooperatives and CARICOM Affairs, Honorable Oliver Joseph, who is also chairman of Government's Pension Engagement Committee. At the weekly post-cabinet press briefing, Minister Joseph said government and the trade unions and staff associations representing public officers reached agreement on this, and it is included in the Memorandum of Understanding between the parties. While the issue of gratuity or the advanced payment of pension remain unresolved, both parties agreed on a pension of 70% for public officers. Minister Joseph explained that this is essentially a top-up of the pension paid by the National Insurance Scheme, which ranges generally from 30% to 58%, but can reach a maximum of 60%. Like the NIS pension, the government's pension will be payable at age 60 to persons who meet the qualifying criteria.
That is separate and apart from the gratuity. So we are speaking specifically here only of pension. When there is settlement on whatever formula is agreed upon for gratuity payment, these persons will receive it, and also for the workers who are retired from the service, they will be given it retroactively. So if you retired over the past few years and you only receive the NIS pension, then you will get it retroactively. And if there is any adjustment to be made after everything is settled, then you will get the adjustment. But we think as a government that we have a responsibility to address the concerns of all these hundreds of workers who are retiring with only NIS pension, to top it up as we promise that we will do, because almost on a daily basis we get the call we hear the concerns of retirees that they are unable to exist on the NIS pension.
Persons who would have already retired and are entitled only to NIS pension will be paid the difference retroactively. Although the matter of gratuity is currently deadlocked, Minister Joseph gave assurances that whatever the outcome, public officers will at that time receive what is agreed upon. The newly announced 70% pension applies only to established workers, that is, workers who have been appointed definitively by the Public Service Commission in a post within the estimates of revenue and expenditure. The minister explained that government will move subsequently to address matters relating to unestablished workers. In this next story, the Cabinet of Grenada has approved a 30th-law Mr. Ali Gill as the country's new ambassador to the Caribbean community, CARICOM. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs is currently taking steps to have Mr. Gill formally installed as Grenada's ambassador to CARICOM. The process will require Mr. Gill having to travel to the CARICOM Secretariat in Guyana to present his instruments of appointment to CARICOM Secretary General Mr. Owen LaRoque. Confirmation of Mr. Gill's appointment will be provided once that process is complete. This is the National Report. More news when we return.
It is here again, it is here again. The Made in Grenada Expo is here again. And I just hope the whole of Grenada ready, because I sung in a clarion call. The Made in Grenada Expo is here again. The Made in Grenada Expo is on February 7th, and the public is encouraged to come out and give full support and buy out all local products on show. Products manufactured right here in Grenada, 100% Grenadian, and it's happening right here at the National Stadium. Are taking in the Independence Parade and the Made in Grenada Expo one time. I am so excited. That's why I'm making a fireside. I bring my tent, my blanket and all kind of thing, and I'm camping right here until everything done on February 7th. The Made in Grenada Expo is here again.
Welcome back. The National Celebrations Committee says the 2019 Independence Day Rally and Parade will be shifted to the Kirani James Athletic Stadium on February 7th. This has become necessary as work is presently ongoing at the cricket stadium to ensure the pitch and outfield are completed for the two-day, one-day internationals on February 25th and 27th, when England tours the West Indies. Chairman of the NCC, Mr. John Williams, has assured that the change will not affect the celebrations.
We were planning to host the military parade, the rally, as well as a cultural presentation at the Grenada Cricket Stadium. But as you know, everyone's aware that we have the upcoming England versus the West Indies international cricket game taking place at that venue. And unfortunately, because of the timing of the games, of the match, we are not able to use the cricket stadium. So we were informed just a short while ago, earlier on, that we would have to revisit the venue for that. So fortunately what we did, we were able to locate all the stakeholders, all the persons who are going to be involved in the military parade as well as the cultural presentation and the rally. So I've just come from a site visit at the Kirani James Athletic Stadium. Police were represented, the Grenada National Stadium was represented. We also have other stakeholders who are going to be involved. And I'm very pleased to say, despite the change and the challenge that we are faced with, we were able to put together some very constructive ideas, and everyone is very much more relaxed about moving to this new location. As I speak, as a matter of fact, the police are involved in their very first rehearsal.
Mr. Williams is appealing to patrons to support the 2019 Independence activities, which commenced last Friday with the hosting of the preliminary round of competition for the Calypso final on January 26th at the Certes bus terminus. It begins at 8 p.m.
And we all need to be very patriotic. Independence is something we should all be proud of, no matter where you are. What country we represent. And we are very happy to know that we, as a small developing nation, we are able to celebrate 45 years as an independent nation. So I'm appealing to all the Grenadans here and abroad, give us your support, and in particular those who are here, to come out, support the Independence Military Parade, Rally and Cultural Presentation. We have a wonderful package. We have put together a greater emphasis on our cultural heritage, because we want we want all of us to recognize what we have achieved over the past 45 years. Our theme speaks to celebrating 45 years, building resilience and economic and social transformation. And that is what Grenada is all about. So we're appealing to Grenada. Come out, bring your flags, wear your colors, celebrate your independence.
The next activity will be the Independence Round, the Island Motorcade, on Saturday 19th. And finally, in the National Report, construction is now in progress for the state-of-the-art Early Childhood Development Center that will serve Mount Horn and surrounding areas. Delroy Loza, Public Relations Officer in the Ministry of Social Development, Housing and Community Empowerment, paid a visit to site to gauge the progress of construction 2 months after the sword was turned.
The Ministry of Social Development, Housing and Community Empowerment, under the stewardship of its Minister and Parliamentary Representative for the constituency of St. Andrew Northwest, the Honourable Delma Thomas, will soon provide an avenue for child growth and development in the St. Andrew area. The new Early Childhood Development Centre is being funded by India-UN Development Partnership Fund, the United Nations Children's Fund, and the Government of Grenada. The Mount Horn Child Development Center will be established to provide care and nurturing and will cater to young children ages 6 months to 3 years. Social worker with responsibility for early childhood in the Ministry of Social Development, Housing and Community Empowerment, Don Cyrus, is impressed with the progress of the work thus far.
I'm quite pleased with the level of work that the contractor was able to accomplish within the past 2 months, because he's actually started mid-November, I think 16 to be exact. And to date, I think things are progressing quite smoothly, and I just really want to hope that our May deadline will be met. And I think it will be made based on what I am seeing and what I observed.
Building contractor for the project, Jerry Hosford, says as with every project, there are challenges. However, his workmen are working assiduously to ensure that each challenge is dealt with accordingly.
As you go through the project, you will meet challenges, and you will meet them unforeseen items. So that become a big challenge. But and in order to take care of that, it also come with a cost. But at the moment, we cannot really put a cost to it.
According to Cyrus, this facility will be one like no other ever constructed in Grenada, since a standard has been established for the edifice.
Those who were built before, some were built as models, but we did not have a standard to look at. We had the idea, we have ideas. But 2017, the standard was passed for early childhood establishment of daycare and preschools. So against this background, we are now using the standards for the building of this early childhood center and future early childhood center. So what we want to ensure that there are separate rooms for different age band. We have the correct adult staff ratio, which was one of the areas that we were weak in the past. And sometimes you come to a center and you find you have so much staff, but actually the standard speaks to every 3 infants, you should have 1 caregiver.
The Mount Horn project will be the model for future facilities being constructed. For the National Report, I'm Delroy Louison.
And that's it for the National Report for today, Tuesday, January 15th, 2019. On behalf of all of us in the newsroom, I am Wendy Edmond, thanking you for joining.
Halon.
Hey, neighbor.
Here's the bill I asked you to pay for me.
How did you get your electricity bill to be so low?
For one, we size our transformers just for what we need. And we unplug transformers, chargers, and other devices when they're not in use. We also replaced our light bulbs with LEDs.
They burn less energy, right?
Much less. I even replaced the seal on my refrigerator door to keep the cold air in.
And Grenlec is always advising us not to open the fridge too often.
That's right. And my family washes and irons in bulk.
With fuel prices changing all the time, how do you know if it is working?
We pay attention to the usage history table. Over time, our average usage has decreased.
So while Grenada can't control fuel prices, I can conserve energy and save money.
GRENLEC, energizing our Grenada.
Hello? Yeah, there we go. You have had Anthony DeRiggs, you've had the GIS for their national report, and I want to say thank you very much to Sharon for lending me some of her time this morning so that we could accommodate Nicholas George from the Billfish tournament. But just before I get to Nicholas, I also want to share a couple of quotes here on Facebook. There's a note here from Lawrence Kruthoff. And Lawrence says, good morning. He says he's watching and listening from London, from Tower Bridge in London, where it's very cold, not as hot as Grenada. Lawrence, where is the Tower Bridge in proximity to, what is it called, the London Wheel? That big Ferris wheel that you guys have there? You know, that's one of the things I really have to say that I enjoyed, despite the fact that even though I'm a pilot, I don't have any issues with flying an airplane at 40,000 feet. But don't ask me to walk on the roof of a house, let alone go into this London Wheel or whatever you guys call it. That was quite an experience, let me tell you, quite an experience. Hope to do it again someday. Ryan is referring to the GIS report here when he says, Ophelia, new face. Yeah, he was referring to that. I think she's a permanent secretary. I have not heard that name before, but welcome, Ophelia. And Carla Ray Briggs is also referring to the GIS report where she says, whoa, Arlie Gill. You know, Arlie Gill is going to be the new ambassador to CARICOM, Grenada's new ambassador to CARICOM. She says, what a thing. Good move, I think. Time will tell. Now, folks, here he is. Here he is. See that gentleman there? Tall, lanky gentleman by the name of Nicholas George. And Nicholas is with the Spice On. How many years have you been with the Billfish tournament?
This year is going to be 9 years.
9 years?
As title sponsor, yes.
Wow, wow, wow.
We have been doing this interview for 9 years.
9 years?
Mm-hmm.
The man is dating me. He's dating me. Huh? Nicholas, congratulations on your 50th anniversary, man.
Thank
boy,
you.
I guess you guys are pretty darn pumped up about this one. It's
Yeah.
going to be a good one.
We're pretty excited. As everybody's aware, the preparations are year-round. So this is more or less the culmination of all the prep work that's been done. The event, just to give everybody a brief rundown on the event, registration starts on the 21st, which is Monday. We actually changed the format up a little bit, and we're actually going to have 4 days of fishing, with 1 half-day fishing being the first day. So the 22nd, we're going to have a half-day fishing. The Bimini start is going to be on the 23rd, which is Wednesday.
What time does it start? The Bimini start?
The Bimini start usually starts about 6:30.
6:30,
Yeah.
they leave? That's when they leave the yacht
Yeah,
club?
usual time. Okay. Hopefully everybody gets the opportunity to view before going to work. Usual procedure. All the kids come down before school, parents bring them down on the carnage, and they have a look at all the fancy boats before they head out.
Spectacular.
The third day, which is the 24th, it's a full day fishing as well. The lay day is a Friday, which is the 25th. So that's a rest day for the fishermen and everybody in general. The yacht club is going to be filled with activity. We're going to have the cook-ups. We're going to have food. The usual get-together where guys haven't seen their buddies in a year, and a lot of camaraderie on that particular day. The last day, the 26th, that is the last day's fishing, and the prize giving will be that night.
That's a Saturday.
That's the Saturday night, yes.
Saturday. Okay, so the first day again is what?
Registration is the 21st, which is Monday.
Right.
That's a registration day, where we're getting all the paperwork together, we're getting all the angler information, boat information together. That's done at the yacht club. And the first day's fishing is the 22nd.
First day, okay, the first day of fishing coincides with the Bimini.
No, let me try and clarify everything. We're going to have a short day fishing on Monday, the 22nd. The actual Bimini start is going to be on the 23rd.
23rd?
Yes.
That's the day. Now,
yes.
The reason why I wanted to clarify that is because Beverly and Jerry, I was talking to Beverly last night, and they're hoping to get back up there and take a look at it again. Okay.
The website, sibt.gd, it gives all the information needed. www.sibt.gd.
sibt.gd. Okay.
It gives a breakdown of the dates and exactly what happens on that particular date.
Okay. You know, you mentioned the camaraderie, and something that would always stick in mind is that the lay day. I mean, this is so wild. I actually left my home to go down to you at the yacht club for some of that food.
Yeah.
I mean, I have seen so many different types of dishes.
Well,
is this catered here, or do some of these guys cook their stuff on their boats?
It's both. Obviously, the committee has put a lot of effort into making sure Grenadian local dishes are highlighted, the oil down, etc. And when you have individuals from all throughout the Caribbean coming together,
exactly,
and you have individuals all with big pots on their boats, all with burners on their boats, you have a get together of big feasts, different styles, different tastes, different, so it really does bring a unique aspect to the event. And these guys love to cook. They're linemen.
Fishermen, what do you expect?
As they say, you need ballast.
What do you, a lot of events start and stop here in Grenada, but 50 years, I mean, you guys must be doing something right. What makes the Billfish tournament reach its 50th anniversary?
I think it's the giants' shoulders that we're standing on.
Explain.
The individuals that really put the effort into this over the last few years. And it's up to us, the younger generation, to make sure that continues. The older generation ensure that the passion was always there. They ensured that the event never fell off. They ensured that the conservation was there.
That's a very important
That's
aspect.
very important. And by them doing that, they've ensured that my son might be able to catch a blue marlin in a few years. So we're really indebted to them for really keeping this going and just getting it up to this level.
Tell us about some of the big fish you guys have been catching over the years.
Well, you see, the event has swayed towards the release. So we haven't had much big fish come to scale. And with the release system, we get the points. The individual gets the points for the fish caught. And it all depends on good sportsmanship. And we have a lot of fun with this system. It really pushes you to be a sportsman. It really pushes you to be fair. It really pushes you to be accurate. So the name of the game isn't really bringing a huge fish to the scale. The name of the game is getting as many fish to the boat, letting them go.
Okay.
Collecting your evidence, making sure everything is legit, get that information to the committee at the end of the day, and your points is calculated based on that.
Okay.
We have something I'd like to highlight. We sorted out a very special prize for the 50th, which is a 500,000 EC jackpot. And that is for any fish 1,000 pounds or over, any marlin or billfish 1,000 pounds or over that is brought to the scale.
That's a big fish.
That's a big fish. So if that happens, the individual will be a little bit better off.
Yeah, a little bit better off. I'm giving up broadcasting and getting into fishing. In recent years, you guys have had a special component for local fishermen. If I'm not
Yes. I think about 3 or 4 years ago, we implemented a local tournament. We wanted to get the local fishermen from the different parishes involved. There was this misconception that it was a very exclusive event. And we wanted to break down that barrier and really encourage the local fishermen to take part as well. It's an inter-parish competition. Right? The prize giving is usually done on the lady at the Grenada Yacht Club to incorporate them into the event as well. This is done with the support of the Grenada Fisheries Department. They have their depots in each parish, and they're responsible for collecting the results and forwarding that to us, and then we in turn create the prize giving ceremony for the local guys.
All right, finally, I want to ask you this. I have been doing this for a little while, trying to encourage people to get down there to watch the parade around the Carnage. Are you guys by any chance planning to have a drone up there to provide some sort of aerial coverage?
We have a very good IT specialist on our committee. The Bimini start will be covered by drone, and I think many other aspects of the tournament will be covered by drone.
And people can watch that on the website.
Yes, you can log on to the website to get the information. The Facebook page is very, very crucial.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good luck, my friend. Good luck.
Thank you.
50 years. My gosh, that's a lot of fish. A lot of fish. And it means an awful lot to Grenada's economy and the tourism industry and stuff like that. Because these guys spend. I mean, look at the boats these guys come in. Some of these guys have $1 million boats.
Most.
There you go.
So it's just to, I don't mean to drag it on, but we've gotten a very special contribution from the chairman of the board of the Ansa Macal group of companies, who runs Carib and most of the breweries throughout the Caribbean, Mr. Norman Sabga. He has a boat that he fishes with every year. He's a sports fishing enthusiast. He loves the Grenada tournament. He does not miss it for anything. And the name of his boat is a Fundy.
A Fundy.
A Fundy. So what he's suggested and what he's put together with us is a fun night.
Okay.
Which is the night before the lady.
The night before?
Before the lady. So you have the lady and then you have the night before.
Right.
You tend to have more drinking on that night because you don't have to fish the next day. And he's contributed some Trinidadian comedians and Calypsonians to come up and entertain the anglers at the Grenada Yacht Club, which is a fantastic contribution on his part. And it's just him recognizing the importance of it being 50 years and him showing his appreciation for all the work that we've done.
Well, good luck, man. I don't think I'll be able to get down there to see the Bimini start. I'll watch the Bimini start from here.
Yeah.
I have a good bird's eye view from here. But
that's good.
Maybe the day you got all the food down.
But you're always welcome.
What day is the lady again?
The lady is Friday.
Friday.
Yeah.
So George, reserve Friday for food.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Nicholas George.
Thank you very much.
Okay, nice to see you, my friend. I'll tell you what, folks. There goes good old Nick. Try and make it up to Fort George. Spectacular view. And like he said, really, really nice activity to take the kids out to watch, before they head off to school. Great stuff. Now, folks, coming up in just a wee bit. Coming up, let me show you here this lady. There she goes. All red. Hot stuff, eh? That's Sharon Roberts sitting down in Florida someplace. And let me see, before I get to Sharon, back to Facebook here for a minute. Celia Maria Flanders says, the Tower Bridge is 20 minutes from the London Eye. This area in London is known as South Central. I live 10 minutes from the London Eye. My name is Celia, not Cecilia. Oh, I'm sorry, Celia. Celia, that's right, Celia Flanders. Celia, and I'm also terribly sorry that I think I called it the London, the London Wheel or something like that. It's the London Eye, okay? But at least you knew what I was talking about. Folks, let me take my little break here, and then we're going to come on back with Sharon.
Halon.
Hey, neighbor.
Here's the bill I asked you to pay for me.
How did you get your electricity bill to be so low?
For one, we size our transformers just for what we need. And we unplug transformers, chargers, and other devices when they're not in use. We also replaced our light bulbs with LEDs.
They burn less energy, right?
Much less. I even replaced the seal on my refrigerator door to keep the cold air in.
And Grenlec is always advising us not to open the fridge too often.
That's right. And my family washes and irons in bulk.
With fuel prices changing all the time, how do you know if it is working?
We pay attention to the usage history table. Over time, our average usage has decreased.
So while Grenada can't control fuel prices, I can conserve energy and save money.
GRENADA, energizing our Grenada.
Grenadian General Insurance Company, strength and stability. Grenadian General Insurance Company, tell your friends, tell your family. We cover householders comprehensive, motor and even fire too. Contractors all risk burglary, public liability, professional indemnity, directors liability, and wait, we still have more. Come and find out more what you're waiting for.
We are located on Scott Street, St. George's. For more information, call 440-2434.
Tell everybody.
Alrighty, folks. Alrighty. It's about 9 minutes away from 10 o'clock. Time now to say good morning to our good friend Sharon Roberts out there in, I know you're someplace in Florida. Where?
Today I'm in Wellington in Palm Beach County.
Are you moving around, girl?
Boy, am I moving around.
Sharon, thank you so much as always for joining us. Have you ever seen that Billfish tournament, the parade?
I saw them in the evening when they come back and they offloading the big fish that they have for sale and stuff, but I've seen going out in the morning only on television. Never saw it in real life. It looks really nice, but 6:30 is a bit early.
Yes, 6:30 is a little bit early. You sound like George Grant. I am so happy that I don't have to be on the air at 6 o'clock in the morning anymore. You know, a lot of people love mornings. And the thing is, once I get out of bed, I'm fine. But the part about opening your eyes and rising out of bed, it is a pain in the you-know-what.
George, I get up at 4:30 every morning.
Excuse me?
Yes, I get up at 4:30 and I do my morning devotions. And then I normally make breakfast for my son who goes to work at 5:30 and have quiet time until the house start waking up and people getting busy. I used to go on the beach at that time, but I no longer have a beach buddy who could stay on the beach, because now that I'm retired, when I go on the beach, I don't want to stay for half an hour. I'll stay until 8 o'clock. And my partner in crime has to go to work for 8 o'clock.
Okay. You know, a lot of people are sort of beach fanatics early in the morning. Ray Roberts will tell you that you see so many people down there on the beach, even on weekday mornings, go out and have a swim before heading off to work.
Yeah, there are a group of men who do. I see them circle in the morning and say their prayers and all that. Some names that you will not believe.
Yeah.
Big grown.
So
yeah.
what's up your sleeve this morning?
This morning, I think I'm just gonna hang around. It's kind of chilly up here. I'm not used to this sort of cold. I used to live in England and I came home and vowed that I'll never go back in the cold. Kind of chilly this morning.
Well, I know that a number of people in Florida have been complaining about the temperatures down there this year. It's kind of cool, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's something as 51 Fahrenheit.
Well, By
Yeah.
our standards here in Grenada, yeah, that's kind of chilly. But by North American standard, yeah, no big deal. No big
Yeah.
deal. Yeah.
My brother is just telling me it's warming up. It's in the 60s already.
Oh,
But
really? Okay. Okay.
good for him. I'm used to much hotter than this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Right now, no, that's probably about 78, 80 down here. You know? Yeah.
Yeah. So this week is next week Billfish tournament in Grenada.
Starts on the 23rd.
23rd. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll still be out.
I see here, by the way, just talking about the beach for a minute, Margaret has just chimed in New York, and she says, my mom goes to the beach early in the AM. Huh? And
Yes.
do you know somebody named Dominic Patrice?
Ah, that's one of my cousins.
That's right. Dominic says, hello, cousin Sharon Elizabeth Roberts-Wiltshire. Sharon Elizabeth Roberts-Wiltshire. Could you have a simple name girl like George Grant?
Boy, there's something missing there. There's still the Doris.
We- Sharon Doris Elizabeth Roberts-Wiltshire.
My correct name is Elizabeth Doris Sherron Roberts-Wiltshire. But my grandmother always called me Sharon, so I wasn't aware that my name was Elizabeth until I had to take out a passport.
I see. Well, I know you didn't ask, but let me tell you, my name is George Raymond Anthony Grant.
There you go.
I don't know if the Raymond Anthony came from, the great musician years back, Ray Anthony. You're probably too young to remember him.
I think our parents then used to give us a bit of all the favorite people's name, like the mothers or sisters or stuff. So the Elizabeth and the Doris came from my aunts.
Okay. So,
And my grandmother was French, so she gave me the Sharon, and it spells different from most Sharon.
so
Sherron. It's not Sharon, it's Sharon.
Oh, Sharon. Okay, but it's two R's.
2 R's. Sherron.
Okay, so I was correct. Been in touch with Petty Martinique lately?
Just chatting with some people. Haven't been. As soon as I get down, I want to go up for the 17th of March.
What's happening on the 17th of March?
St. Patrick's Day.
Big
So
celebration?
I think I will go up. Not that I want to. I will definitely go up for the 17th of March.
Okay. All right.
I'm talking about Dominic. Dominic lives in this area normally, but he's in Grenada, I think. I saw him there for New Year's, much to my surprise.
Okay.
So, because we have, our family is extremely big. Peter Martinique people, everybody, as we say, everybody is one family. So Dominic's father and my father are first cousins.
Okay.
We shared
pretty much the same thing here in Grenada. Everybody seems to be related. When I came back to this place 30-something years ago, I discovered that I had cousins all over the place.
Exactly.
As far as I know, my Grant clan is from St. Paul's. If I mention the name Soka Boka, I'm sure you remember him. You're probably the name George Grant Senior. George Grant was my uncle. This man, I don't know if you're old enough to remember a place downtown called Everybody's.
Okay, yes, I remember that.
Right. He used to manage Everybody's downtown, and my father managed Granby stores in Grenville. You had the branch down here on Granby Street, and then one in Labbe. He managed that one up there. So they're
But
all.
John, the other day I was telling somebody I do my own sewing and stuff, and I wanted to make a pattern. And you cannot get anything like that in Grenada anymore. Granby's and Everybody's and Maria Scott.
Right.
You used to be able to go in there. They had this great big fashion books, and you go through, you choose your fashion, and they would have the pattern there. So you just cut and sew.
Okay.
So we talk about going forward, but sometimes you wonder if we're not going backwards
Yeah.
because those things are no longer available. Anything you wanted. It took me almost a week to get some buttons in St. George's. You go to LA Purcell, and I went through about a million buttons and couldn't get what I wanted. And I mean, I think that is backward, not forward. They no longer haberdashery stores where you could just go and get what you want.
We got KFC.
You got KFC. When we stop cooking at home and we can't, oh boy.
You know what else is missing, Sharon? Back in those days, if you went into a store, like say Everybody's or De Freitas or whoever, and they didn't have what you wanted, they would order it, or at least try and find it for you. Okay.
That's right.
Nowadays, I don't have it. Big deal. Go somewhere else.
If you don't have somebody overseas to get it for you, you
Exactly.
will just have to make do. When we came to Grenada when I was 10 years old, talking about Pitamartinic. Pitamartinic now have electricity and everybody has a cell phone or 2 or 3. And when we grew up, you know, the first time I saw a car, I was 10 years old. You're laughing. We moved to Grenada in 1965. That's telling my age. I was born in 1955.
Okay.
And we pulled in on the Starlight V. I don't know if you knew that boat, or some people may remember. The Vespries had a boat that ran from Carriacou to Grenada.
Okay.
And they could not get me inside a car. Fortunately, we were moving to Green Street. So from on the Carnage, they were able to walk me from the Carnage to Green Street. I refused to get inside this thing that I never saw before that's moving. And today, it's amazing. We have about maybe 10 cars or more on Pitamartinic.
Well, you do now. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. We have too many for the size of the island. We have too many vehicles.
Not just Pitamartinic, Grenada as well.
True. Yeah. I'm amazed every time I have to go somewhere why we have so much traffic jam. Yeah. Where everybody going, no matter what time of the day. Mm-hmm. You would think 9 o'clock would ease up because people at work. Mm-hmm. No.
No. Just let me get back here to Facebook for a minute. First of all, Ryan says, Granby's, it's not Granny, it's not Granny, Ryan, it's Granby, Granby. He says, Granby Store, Grenville, Grenada, our favorite family store in La Bay. And Margaret is addressing you, Sharon. Margaret says, patterns are available online.
Yeah. So if you don't have a computer, what you do?
Send a homing pigeon out to look for it.
Yeah.
Now here's one. I think this one's really cute. It comes from Carla Ray. Carla Ray says, we recall a Grant man who lived between Mondelez and Mount Airy. The Foulcock man, he was called. Was he your relative, Gilbert? I don't know, Carla. I don't know. The Foulcock man. No, I don't. Yes. And then she goes on to say, I think he had a pet rooster who lived inside his home and mourned his passing. I could just see this cock wiping his eyes. Oh, my master is gone. Oh my gosh! I wish I had seen this comment when we had Ray here yesterday talking about these after funeral parties. Sharon Margaret says life is tough. She's responding to a comment you just made.
I think actually it's as tough as you make it. Yes, I tend not to let anything bother me. I'm one of the happiest people in the whole wide world. I was telling somebody just a couple of days ago, I hardly ever get angry, and I forgive very easily. And George, I know you read the good book, so let me give you one of the reasons why I forgive easily. The good book tell you that when you forgive, it's like heaping burning coals on the head of the person who offend you. Well, I go a little further. I say I get great pleasure from seeing the head on fire.
Yeah.
So I forgive very easily.
Yeah, yeah. It takes the load off your shoulder, girl.
Yeah.
Lawrence
Not
Kruthoff.
tough for me, Margaret.
Pardon
Life
me?
is not.
Pardon me?
So telling Margaret, life is not tough for me.
Okay, Margaret, life is not tough for Sharon. Lawrence Kruthoff says, "Hi, George. I knew your father in Granby store when I was a little boy. A long, long time ago, Lawrence." Kidding you. He went on to say, "He was a very big man." Now, Lawrence, that part I question a little bit. George Grant, who managed everybody's, he was a big man compared to my dad, Oliver, who managed Granby. So I don't know whether you're probably mixing those two up a little bit. But yeah. Ryan says, Ryan says, an emotional support pet, the falcock. Yet, forgive, but don't forget. Now, I guess having a cock as a pet is really not that unusual, because I discovered that in the United States and Canada, there are people who have pigs as pets. And these pigs are to be found on their beds.
What?
Huh? Did you know that?
Never heard that.
No, seriously.
I know people do strange things. I remember one of my nephews visiting him in Maryland, and he had this huge snake. Needless to say, they couldn't get, once I saw that and I went back upstairs, they couldn't get me to go down into his area at all. So they have snakes, and I've heard about the pigs, but not in their beds.
Pigs in beds. And I mean, they wash these pigs. They take very good care of them.
Yeah.
Margaret says, you're so right about that forgiveness thingy. And it's true, eh?
Yeah.
If only-
When you don't forgive, you're not doing the person any harm. You're doing yourself, because it causes bile in your body. It makes you sick. And the strange thing is, sometimes you're holding something against somebody, and that person going about life happily, not even aware
Exactly.
that you're stressing about them.
Exactly.
So the best thing to do is to let go. And if you believe in a higher source, whether you call him God or whatever your high source, you leave it up to him to take care. He promised that he's going to take care of you.
Absolutely.
He tell you that vengeance is his. So what you do is you let go, and you live the best life that you can. And when you let go of all these things, you become a well person. You're not sick. You even feel lighter.
That unforgiveness causes an awful lot of stress, which in turn causes a lot of the illnesses that people have to cope with these days. By the way, Margaret says here, Sharon, here's the link. Well, you can check it out on Facebook. You don't need a pen. But she says, Butterick, BUTTERICK .McCall.com.
All right, I will.
She says check it out while you're up there. Ryan says, bleeding peptic ulcers, dear. I guess that could be the consequence of unforgiveness.
That's right. So, and I think that is one of the problems we have in Grenada. We have a saying, I'm sure you all know, sweating other people's fever. You know, the politicians cause all kind of strife and make you, even within families, don't trust and dislike each other and have all kind of stress about each other. And you see them together, slapping each other back and having a drink, and they cause so much problems. And I think it's about time. Grenada is getting worse with this political strife. And it is time that we see them for who they are, set of hypocrites, and just live our best lives. Forget them. Go back to your friends there. Your friends will always be there. You think after election you could go and ask those politicians to do anything for you? They do as if they don't even know you. After they stir up all kind of confusion, and I see it on my little island of Martinique. This last election was my worst life experience with these politicians. And some of them I know very well. They do not like you all. They do not like you. All they care about is themselves and how much money they could hoard away before they're no longer there. They don't give one crap about us as people. It's all about them. And until we realize that and accept it, we will be in this rut. You know, imagine you having an event for children for Christmas. Little children, little innocent people, 3, 4 years, 5 years old, go because you say you're having a party, and then the child reach to the top to get a present, and you say, oh no, that their father or their grandfather didn't vote for you, so don't give them. And this poor little child walking off and say, Papa, why they don't like me? What did I do? You didn't do anything. And that is the sort of nonsense they want to bring into little Martinique, where everybody is one. That gets me real sick, because if there's one person who loves Martinique with all their heart and soul, is me. I am the only one. We have 10 children. I am the only one that went back to serve. I spent 10 years as coordinator for Martinique because I believe in serving my people. I serve my people of Grenada, but I don't want nobody to know what I'm doing. I do what I have to do, and the only person I have to please is God.
Amen. You know, you mentioned a little while ago the hypocrisy. I'm sure you remember the days when I used to broadcast every sitting of the House of Representatives and the Senate. I used to go down to the Trade Center to do those broadcasts. And I did that for a number of years. And Margaret, something that always really, really galled me, when you talk about hypocrisy, people listening to the broadcast around the world, you would see them tune out once the politicians started with their crapola. I make no apologies for using that word, because that's what it was. These guys behave like immature kids in the highest office in the land, your parliament, okay? Mm-hmm. They would go at each other like wild animals. And then lunchtime comes, and these guys are out in the parking lot or in the back room, they're having lunch, hugging each other. You know, after putting on such a stupid display in the presence of the public globally, you see them hugging each other. I mean, isn't that hypocritical? It really, really bugged me to see that. And nowadays, you notice I don't carry those sittings anymore. I did it because I felt it was important that people out there find out exactly what was happening in their parliament. But that kind of behavior, I refuse to broadcast that to the world anymore. I refuse to do it. And who don't like it? Too bad. Margaret says, no, tell me they didn't do that to a child. These people are sick. She's
Of
referring
course
to your
they
comment.
are. But you know, George, one of the things I have found, one of the things that I do, even if I'm doing something for somebody that I may not care about or that I know they're really not worth my time, but I do it based on what I've seen them do and the way they behave towards other people. I do the best I can because I always remember we had a sister called Sister Rosario. I went to St. Joseph's Convent, and she always tells us, whatever you do, just imagine that you're doing it for Jesus.
Amen.
Just imagine that, I mean, a little thing as making up your bed, do the best, make it up the best way you can, because what if Jesus came to visit you? You know, when you're cooking, cook with love, because what if you have to give Jesus some of that meal? When you treat people, treat them as if you're dealing with Jesus. And I'm not one of these Bible pumping people who think, I go to church for the month of December. I went to church almost every day from 4:30 in the morning. So, because it's Christmas novenas and whatnot, I'm a Catholic. I don't feel that I have to rush to church every Sunday. I go when my heart tells me to go. I do the best I can, and I believe that religion and have nothing to do with me. It is my personal relationship with Heavenly Father, and I do the best to people. I don't treat anybody the way that I wouldn't like somebody to treat me. But I'm not foolish. I do not let anyone take advantage of me.
You know something else, Sharon? There's the churchgoers will always quote for you a passage from the Bible, and I'm paraphrasing here, which says, not neglecting the assembling. They're trying to suggest that the Bible is saying that you should go to church. Nowhere in the Bible have I ever seen anything about church. In fact, I do recall somewhere saying where Jesus said, when you pray, go into your closet and close the door. He didn't say that I have to assemble in a church to pray. No, 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 no. And let me tell you, like you, I read the Bible every day. Every day. Okay? So please, I just can't take that. Anyhow, girl, oh, by the way, Lawrence Kruthoff says, well said, Sharon. Very true. Girl, you got fans out there this morning.
Boy, I grew up in Pitty-Martinique where we were 99.9% Catholic. The only non-Catholic on the island used to be my grandmother. And she still used to go to the Catholic church because she didn't have community. And the first time I saw a Bible was my grandmother's Bible. And we grew up straight as an arrow. I never went to a party as a young person. Not in my mother's house. My brothers go, and I used to beg to go with them, but the answer was no. So don't even bother. I'm not saying that was right, but these days you think us parents can stop our teenage children from going somewhere? Really?
Wishful
and
thinking.
yet when I pray and I have a conversation with God, and I'm not connected. I'm a Catholic. I go to the Catholic church if I have to. But anybody invite me to their church, I also go to that because I think there's one God. You know? So do the best you can.
You know, there's one God, girl, absolutely. And something that really ticks me off when various denominations try to convince you that their denomination is the right one. I remember, like you, a Catholic, you were probably baptized as a little child, you know, shortly after birth. I was baptized as a baby as well. But somehow as I grew up, I just felt the need to be baptized. So I was just going from one denomination to another in Toronto. And one day, I'm not going to mention the name of the denomination, one day I decided to be baptized in that church. Now, here's somebody in his late 20s at the time, right? Sharon, I was walking up to the font, or whatever it is, where they duck you, okay? And was told that I had to say, I believe that whatever the name of the church is the only true church.
What?
Well, you know what, my friend? That triggered me. Something just said, George, get out of here. I walked out of the church, went to the parking lot, jumped in my car, and went home. Sharon, they're God-fearing people in every denomination I know. Okay, so please, don't come and tell me your church is the right one. Don't try that with me. Don't try that with me.
Exactly.
Margaret Francis says here, you got that right about the overuse of the assembling yourselves together. Yeah, she knows the passage I'm talking about. Ryan says, your genuine sincerity shines through. Jesus made the same comment about the Pharisees. One God and one love. Sharon?
You know, of all the people in Grenada, all the heads of churches in Grenada, two of my favorite people. I mean, apart from the fact that our Bishop, Clyde Harvey, is one of my favorite people in the whole world. Christopher Baker. You ever hear that man preach?
No, I haven't. But I'll tell you.
I think he is one of the few people that could make me sit down for an hour to hear him speak. And when somebody is genuine, you could feel it and you know it.
Exactly.
I've seen too many things to make me and it's all about God, eh? It's not about that person.
Yeah. You know, Sharon, on the first Sunday of this year, I had Bishop Harvey on my program. And I'll tell you, that man moved my audience like you wouldn't believe. He's got my attention anytime he speaks. Because I believe he's shooting from the heart. You know? And I'm really looking forward to having some more conversations. When I played that thing on a couple of Sundays ago, it wasn't an interview. I went to him on a Saturday afternoon and I said, look, Bish, I'm not going to interview you. I'm providing you with a platform. I'm giving you airtime. You just speak to the people of this nation from your heart. Sharon, this man went on for about 20 minutes. And I was surprised when he was finished because I wish he had gone on for another 20 minutes, you know? But yeah, that gentleman has my attention. Anyhow, and there are people in other denominations whom I feel that way about. I just don't want to be told my church is the only true church. Don't go there.
Wouldn't we have a rude awakening when we die and we go over to wherever or whatever? Chances are we die and that's the end of it.
Yeah.
But I believe that there is more to it than this earthly journey.
I do.
Wouldn't it be something else if when you go over the person you least expected or the denomination you least expected? I don't think God knows nothing about denominations. He didn't form them.
No.
So it's all about man, and guess what? It's all about ego and control. I am convinced of that. I live my life by 5 simple principles. And every day I say that. Well, you know I'm a Reiki master.
Yeah.
So there are lots of people who don't believe in it and they said, oh, it's to do with the devil. Well, wow, if it's about the devil, I don't know anything about that. So maybe whoever think it is could teach me about that. But we live our lives by 5 simple principles. Just for today, And when you say just for today, remember, all we have is now, this moment. 10 minutes ago cannot be recaptured. So just for now, do not worry. Just for now, do not anger. Honor your parents, teachers, and elders. And your teacher could be the smallest child, could teach you something. Live your life honestly and live in an attitude of gratitude. No matter what life throw at me, I take a deep breath and I say thank you. I use it as a teaching moment. Maybe, you know, sometimes you're going down the road, for example, and you're fretting because you're in traffic and you need to get there. And a little lower down, you realize that were you there 10 minutes ago, you would have been involved in that accident. Heavenly Father or Source or whatever you want to call him, God, Jah, Allah, that is who is in control, not me, not you. And until we reach a place where we genuinely love each other and would do anything for each other, then we are in deep trouble. So that's my preaching for the day.
Well, let me tell you, girl, I'm sitting here very quietly listening to you, and I wish that I could go on. Now, I don't mind. I could sit here and talk a lot longer, but a lot of the people who are watching us, I'm sure they have things to do, and I appreciate the fact that they have spent the last hour and 26 minutes with us. Maybe at some other point we should carry on this conversation a little bit more. Lincoln Roberts on Facebook says, we knew Clyde before he was a priest. God bless him. Okay. And Ryan says, I just love to listen to Bishop Harvey. Yeah, a lot of people do, because the man, he's shooting from the heart. And I do believe that he has the Spirit of God. I really do believe that. Sharon, thanks a lot, my friend.
Yeah, George, I'm looking forward to sitting in there with you in the next 1, 2, 3, on the third Wednesday.
Third Wednesday of February, you're going to be sitting here in person.
No, the first Wednesday in February, 3 Wednesdays from now. I'll come sit with you.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was suggested. Carla Ray Briggs said, did we just have an alien invasion? What is she talking about?
With Carla, you never know.
With Carla, you never know. Thanks a lot, Sharon. You have a great day, my friend.
Okay, my dear. Blessings, everyone.
God bless you, too. Sharon Roberts there is speaking with us from Florida. Whoa! I think this has to be the longest edition of Gudday Grenada I have ever done. And I enjoyed it. And I hope it was a blessing for you as well. Let me take a little break here, and then we'll come on back and wrap it up. Alrighty, folks. Looks like I'm not aware of it, but it looks like there was a little hiccup out there towards the end of the program. I see some comments here. Carla Briggs was asking, did we just have an alien invasion? I'm assuming that she's referring to the internet. Lawrence Kruthoff says, oh yes, I'm not seeing you on my screen. And Ryan said, yes, I had to use the back button to get Gigi back. Well, I don't know what happened, folks, but let me tell you, here, everything was going out beautifully, perfect. And again, despite what just happened, let me tell you that for the past few weeks, since a week or two before Christmas, we have had really, really impeccable streaming here, okay? Veronica Sandy says, enjoy your day, everybody. And thank you, George and Sharon. And thank you, Veronica, for joining us as well. Well, we've done with our preaching for the day. I'm just going to close off by ad-libbing something here. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not to your own understanding, but in everything that you do, acknowledge him, and he will direct your path. Okay? That's actually a quote from the book of Proverbs. Pilgrims, Georgie Porgy is going to go try to feed his face and have another cup of coffee. Thank you so much for joining us. Let's get together again tomorrow morning, by God's grace, for another edition of Gudday Grenada.